Hey family, let me work this music real quick. Trying to get this music off of here. All right. Welcome to
Thank
Real
you.
Mojo. Today our show is about lemonade life, where setbacks can be setups for a comeback. I'm your host, Missy Jomo. Thank you for joining our show. So, if you are watching in the chat, please drop your location. We care about our Mojo family. So, today is a very special day because today's guest is a true example of turning pain into purpose. She knows what it's like to battle. She knows what it's like to battle low self esteem and survive abuse, but she refuses to let her past define her future. She rose above it all and today stands proud as a doctor of nursing practice and registered nurse and the founder of Manifest Home Health, helping people reclaim confidence, health, and independence. She also redefines entrepreneurship in her own terms. Inspired by her grandfather and her stepdad's small businesses, she carried those lessons of grit and creativity into her own path. With determination, she earned the LVN and later the Doctor of Nursing Practice in Executive Nursing Leadership. She went on to found Manifest Home Health in Austin, Texas, a home health agency dedicated to safe, compassionate care for seniors and the disabled. Her journey proves that entrepreneurship doesn't have to follow one mold. It can turn unconventional beginnings into business that truly makes an impact. Family, this is Dr. Shirley Oriaki, a woman of resilience, wisdom, and strength who has truly made lemonade out of her lemons. Thank you, Shirley, for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Miss Missy. I'm so excited to be here and I look forward to our conversation.
Yes, I've known you for many, many years. I don't even know how long. So just knowing your story, I said, you know what? Charlotte would be a good one for this because you were just doing your thing. Basically, you were doing amazing. So,
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm honored that you even thought of me to participate on this amazing platform that you have. I'm very proud of you and I'm very inspired by you. And I look forward to everything that you're going to do and all the people that you are going to be able to tell their stories through this platform. So
well,
thank you.
God, we thank God. I'm so thankful.
Amen.
Let's get into it.
Okay.
So, can you take us back to your childhood around entrepreneurship? What did that look like for you?
So, first of all, I didn't know it was even entrepreneurship. I thought it was just individuals. Of the few that I did see, which was my grandfather and my stepdad, I thought they were just working. And instead of working for other people, they were really actually just working for themselves, kind of making their own path and making their own schedules. They work just as hard. I saw them wake up before anybody else and go to bed after everybody else. But at the same time, I saw that they were making their own decisions. And so even though they were doing the things that involved a lot of hard work, it was the decision they made each day to do that. So it was kind of like me seeing them sculpting and kind of curating their own day. So I thought that was pretty amazing.
Yes, I can understand. So, how did those early experiences truly just shape you into um, business and leadership today, though? Like, what was the biggest impact?
So I will say I'm not even sure when it happened, how it happened. Um, for me, much later in life, I was honored and blessed to be able to care for my grandfather in my home as he was kind of transitioning. When he first came, he was very vibrant And so as time went by, he got some diagnoses and it kind of, you know, caused a slow decline. But what that experience did for me was it gave me the idea that people really needed help. They really did need help. And so my grandfather was able to kind of talk about his experiences as an entrepreneur, and it gave me some insight into, wait, my grandfather, he was hiring people, he was firing people too, but he was mostly hiring people, helping people in the community, helping change people's lives, putting money in their pockets, and kind of engaging with the community and just advocating for people. So it kind of, those experiences these last few years of his life, talking to him, he kind of gave me a lot of insight about what he really did.
Okay. So, can you tell us a time when low self esteem and abuse define your daily life?
So I don't really, um, I can't really say that I did it consciously. So it's kind of hard for me to say specifically, but I can say that I think God allows us to go through things in life in order to help us to gain empathy for other people as we navigate through and be able to kind of, because it's one thing to say, oh, well, I'm sorry, but it's another thing to kind of really experience what a person has gone through firsthand. So, what I will say is, I can't really say, you know, this is what happened and I experienced this and then it led to that. But I can say that for the period of times, and it wasn't just one time, it was multiple times, because until you kind of grow into who you are and who God wants you to truly be, and your self-esteem and belief, and you begin to see yourself the way God sees you, then until you get there, you're going to keep, of course, making the same mistakes. So it's not as if I can define it as a relationship, multiple relationships involving me engaging in the abuse and self esteem towards myself first, and then allowing other people to come into my life and just display it, you know, through their behavior towards me. But I can say that it was very dark, it was very difficult. It keeps you from fully being who you want to be, um, caring for other people, because your trust is very defined by the relationships that you're in at any given moment. And when you're surrounded by intimate partners who you don't trust, then it interferes with your trust for other people, which then interferes with your daily activities of life. So I will say that it wasn't a particular person in a particular situation. And I can't say, you know, this is what happened and it caused this and that. But I can say that it was very difficult to navigate throughout a day with other people and engage and truly offer what you have fully, if when you come home in the evening or at night, you have to deal with chaos and drama and
Right.
abuse.
I do understand that. So, what was that turning point moment that you were like, I deserve different than this?
That where I woke up and I said, what is wrong with um the whole, in each, before, it was like an awakening. It wasn't a particular relationship, it was just an awakening for me, to where I thought, this is not part of what God has planned for me.
Mhm.
um I have more to offer and I cannot offer it to other people until I fully appreciate and love myself enough not to allow other people to treat me in a way that's disrespectful, not only towards me, but towards me as a child of God.
Right.
So it wasn't like, oh, I woke up out of this one particular relationship and this one particular relationship. It was, I woke up out of every relationship. I would not allow any more behavior that did not align with what God had planned for me. So I made a decision. I wrote down what I wanted. How Becca tells us to do that, to make it plain so that when they see it, they can run with it. And so I wrote down exactly what I wanted for me, my future relationships, everything. And Missy, I will tell you, God came through in ways that I could not even imagine.
I bet he did. He always comes through right on time.
Always comes through right on time. And you don't even know until you look back and you say, wait, I remember I said I wanted this. And God delivered.
Exactly. So let me ask you this: earning your DNP is huge. So what kept you going through, or did you experience any of these hard times as well when you were going uh, to achieve this your DNP?
I don't think there is one person on earth that can say they did not expect. I mean, any program from, I will tell you this, and I know this is maybe difficult for people to believe, but the hardest program I ever did was the first program I ever did, which was the LVN program through Austin Community College, because it was a new thing. And I didn't understand how to navigate through it. I didn't understand the expectations. I didn't know the fortitude that was going to be needed, the pushing, the perseverance. Now, once I got past that program, it got easier and easier. But as I was advancing through school, I got older and older. So the things that were easier for me as I was younger became a little more difficult because not then I only had me to worry about. But as you get older, you have your family, you have your parents, you have work, you have life. And so I won't say that I will tell you that the doctorate and the LVN were the two single hardest programs I ever did. Everything in between wasn't as challenging for me as people might expect it would be. But the doctorate and the LVN threw me for a loop. The doctorate because I was
Yeah.
just more advanced in age. I had more responsibilities. I had, just life was lifing with me while I
Right.
was in the doctoral program.
Mhm.
And I was joking with my mom about something because I have pretty much, and I'm not saying this to, I mean, I humbly say this because I know it is by the grace of God. I haven't really experienced having a hard time with school. Most of the time in life, I've been able to navigate through school without a lot of difficulty. But I was telling my mom, it's something about a doctoral program that they gain some type of pleasure out of telling you you're not good enough. This won't work. This is not doctoral. This is not doctorally prepared um, documents. So it pushes you to just keep pushing harder, harder, harder. And then one day they just start telling you, you know what, you're there. This is it. You have made it. And I will just tell anybody that if you are doing any program, you are exactly where you need to be, exactly when you're there, and never ever stop because I didn't go for this doctorate for me. I really went for this doctorate for the people who I could serve with the doctorate because I really would have been okay with a master's. Um, but I knew that there's a certain level of respect and expectation that comes with the doctorate, and I wanted to meet the challenge. So I'm just thankful to God for getting me through it because it was by the grace of God that I completed the program.
Yes, and we just have to stay thankful. But you spoke about, you were older. How, as you've gotten older, some things kind of shift as well. So how did your personal, I mean, we kind of heard what you said, but I want to specifically, how did your personal journey shape the woman that we see today and inspire you to create manifest health, home health?
So Manifest Home Health was actually given to my husband for me. God wanted my husband to speak it to me. He wanted my husband to speak it to me. So when my husband and I got together initially, my husband said, "Why don't?" Because I had been in home health for about maybe like 10 years when me and my husband got together. Um, and he saw me in home health, like navigating through the space pretty successfully, right? He said, "Why don't you start your own home?" Oh no, I could never start my own home health agency. That is a lot of responsibility. That's a lot of work. You wouldn't even want me to start my own home health agency. So fast forward, I would say maybe uh, 4 years later, I got an unction. Start your own home health agency. It was really after my grandfather. And my grandfather was staying with me. I was blessed and honored to have him agree to move in during COVID. And I saw Missy firsthand how people are struggling to get safe, reliable, compassionate care in their home setting for their loved one. And I
Mhm.
saw how what a vulnerable position that is for people, allowing strangers into their home to provide whatever care is needed. And I saw how the patients thrive when they're in their home setting. They're more comfortable. They divulge more to you because they are home. And I was seeing this as the years was going by, but to personally experience it, it just brought it home to me. And so God said, "Okay, I'm ready for you to start your own home health agency." And so I was scared. So I said, "No, God, you know what? How about I do personal care? Because that one's a little bit less demanding, and I think I can handle that one." And so, of course, God's not gonna force us to do anything. He's gonna just tell us what he wants us to do and then allow us to kind of navigate our way through. And so I started the home health personal care, and I did it for about 3 years. And I just got the unction again. I said, skilled. I need you to really hone in on the skilled aspect of it. So I just woke up one day and told my husband, "Okay, I'm ready for home health, skilled, being able to offer people what they need in the home setting and being able to educate them." Because I'm really big about teaching people how to do it yourself so that you're not relying upon other people. And so my husband said, "Okay, you ready? I'm ready." And so um, I relinquished the personal care license and restarted the licensure for the skilled.
Wow. That's a lot. I
Yeah.
feel you. You know, sometimes when we're not listening, God will definitely put someone else there to tell us, and then if we don't listen, then He will definitely bless someone else with that assignment. So
Amen.
we have to learn
Amen.
to jump on that assignment ahead of time because it's for us. You know,
Yeah.
it's for us, but He's not going to make us. He gives
No,
us. Yeah, He's not going to make us. So
no.
okay, so let me ask you this. As a business owner, what is the biggest challenges in rebuilding your self-esteem? Because I heard you were saying you were telling your husband, no, it's not for you to start this business. And so then eventually you started it. So
Mhm.
were you still working on building that self-esteem to be a successful business owner?
Still working on building that self esteem now.
I hear you.
It is not something that is consistent for me. It depends upon what's going on at any given moment. Because one thing about life is we are constantly surrounded by people who want to challenge us on our ability and our knowledge, our wisdom, our insight. And so the thing about it is, how do you navigate through this, maintain your humility, remain humble, and still while showing people that you're able to meet the demands. And so I will say that um, I just came to the fruition that it's not about other people, it's really about me. And if I get it for myself, if I understand that I'm capable and that God would not give me this assignment without giving me every necessary tool,
Mm-hmm.
then um he didn't bring, as they say, God didn't bring you this far to bring you this far. And I keep telling myself that over and over. God did not bring me this far to bring me this far. It is a bigger plan, because my goal is to arm each and every disparaged person with the tools that they need to be able to provide their own self-care. There are many, many areas of our health that we um can self-care for ourselves. I want to put it where you don't need me. You don't need me. I've armed you in a way that when it's time for you to leave service with us, that you feel fully capable of managing your chronic illness, whether it's diabetes, whether it's
That's one.
COPD,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, whatever it is, heart failure. There are ways for you to manage your illness without and I don't mean all these different concoctions, and I don't mean, you have to go and spend a lot of money. I mean basic things that people aren't, and it's not also always that they're non-compliant, which is a good, you know, way of saying that they just don't want to do it in healthcare. It's not always that they're non-compliant, it's that they're unaware. So I'm not sure if I answered your question, Missy.
You're answering it and then some. But let
Okay.
me ask you this question. I'm gonna bring you back to what if someone was feeling stuck in where they are today?
Mhm.
Maybe it is um, a relationship or a job, that they're feeling that they're not being used to their full potential, or, they suffer from self-esteem issues, like that mindset of I can't. What would be
Mhm.
the first small step that they could take to start moving toward their goals?
I would say first, recognize who you are in Christ. That's the first thing I would tell you, is see yourself the way God sees you. And if you don't know how God sees you, pull out the Bible and start to look. Be very inquisitive about um, what God sees in you. Because if you have, wherever you are, for me, if you're not happy, it's because there's something else you're supposed to be doing.
Huh.
There's always, um, we're always supposed to be expanding. We're always supposed to be learning. Um, I'm not sure. I heard this the other day. It says if I'm not even sure who said it, but I don't want to steal somebody's quote. But they said if you can't change the people around you, change the people around you.
Hmm.
So I think for many of us, we are trying to change our environment, um, instead of removing ourselves from an environment where we feel stuck. What we are is scared,
And complacent sometimes.
very much so.
Hmm.
Complacent, fearful, self-doubting, believing that it's for other people and not for you, and generally just disorganized, to be quite honest. There's no blueprint always available to us, although there are blueprints pretty much for everything, but we don't always have access to it. But there's a way to find it.
Yeah, I always say if there's not a road there, you better blaze you one and create your own road.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, because the thing about it is, like, yeah, what you just said. If there's not a blueprint, then make a blueprint. You make a blueprint.
Hmm.
Yeah.
With God, all things are possible.
Amen.
They always say the
Oh,
sky is the limit, but there's no limit if you truly believe. And but see, and that's the thing. Sometimes, you know, the people who are experiencing these lemons, you know, sometimes they can't see beyond the lemons. They can't see, hey,
Right.
what? There's always something we can do with even lemons, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's, you know, that's why I decided to do the lemonade life, because sometimes people don't realize that all they need is what's in their hands. So
Yeah.
turn whatever is inside of you, that low self-esteem, and use it for yourself. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and then, because you know, when you're experiencing, like you said, when you're experiencing certain things in life, it's to help you grow so that you can help someone else who will walk through that same season. So yeah,
Right.
it, you know, you just like, you have to just move those lemons a little bit far back so you can see the whole picture. Because once you
Absolutely.
get a vision of the whole picture, like you said, you truly start to manifest where you're supposed to be, and you don't just stay stuck or
Right.
complacent in that place where you're like, oh, you know, this is how it is. This is just
Mm-hmm.
how it's gonna be. Because definitely you'll never get there. You're there, and that I also did this because that was me. I felt like, oh, woe is me. Life is so hard.
Yeah.
Never knew that experiencing many of the things I experienced, just like you, from abuse, very low self esteem,
Yes.
just even for me, it was just a lack of identity. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know
Yes.
who I was. I didn't know
That's
that
what it is.
because I was a child of God, that one, that gave me access to
Mm.
everything that I could even dream or think of.
Yes.
So just that act, you know, realizing that, and until you realize, like you said, until you realize who you are, you're not going to be able to see that vision.
You
So
won't.
it takes time, and sometimes, you know, you may have to take some, you know, to, for me, it was all about being accountable to someone, and then they
Okay.
started to mold me, show me different. You know, don't look at the glass half empty. You know, look at
Gratitude.
the glass half full. And so, when you
Gratitude.
start changing your mindset, you can really, I believe that you really can do anything that you can dream of. So, yeah, thank you for that. That is wonderful.
Yeah. It surpasses even what we can even imagine.
Yes, exactly. So, let me ask you this: what was the biggest challenge moving from just nursing into the entrepreneurship? Was it just yourself, or was there other challenges? Tell us a little bit about, maybe was there any legal challenges? Like what did you feel was the most challenging when deciding that you were going to start Manifest Home Health?
So, Missy, this is what I would tell you. I thought, well, I'm a nurse and it's home health, and I've been doing home health forever. What's the big deal? All I want to do is take care of people. Not knowing legal structure. I mean, I knew absolutely positively nothing. And you don't know what you don't know. So
Right.
I literally walked into this thinking that, oh, I know what to do. I just need to do this, this, and this. And I slowly began to find out that no, that's not, I mean, the very people that you are trying so very hard to help can sometimes be the ones that cause you the most pain and problems.
Hmm.
And and sometimes you think that people want help, and in fact, they really don't want help.
They want to stay stuck sometimes.
They want to, yeah, and I don't just mean, and I actually don't even mean patients. I really mean, the people within the organization. You think because they're in this organization, they ask you to be part of it, that they truly, genuinely want to be part of it. But
Uh,
that's not always the case. And also learning, and I'm so thankful to God for giving me all these insights and wisdom and shortcuts and tools that I've been able to share with other entrepreneurs who are coming in who thought like me, oh, well, it's just this, so we just have to do that. No, there are multiple layers. And one thing I will tell you is I hear a lot of times from people, well, nobody wants to help me. People want to help you.
Yes.
People are genuinely good and they really want to help you. And if you keep that mindset, you will keep finding God will keep maneuvering people and putting them into your life, into your space to provide you whatever you ask God for them to do. So for me, I will say coming into this space, there was a lot of things that I thought I knew that I didn't even know I don't know, particularly the business structure, doing things the right way. I had to make a lot of corrections for a lot of errors, but that's okay because it was always an opportunity for me to learn from it. And then in some instances, yeah, I did it more than once, but it's
Mm-hmm.
okay because
Mm-hmm.
I'm being a human and I am navigating through a new space of entrepreneurship because, of course, whatever entrepreneurship I saw, it wasn't based on any kind of structure that was the proper way that people typically do start businesses. It was built on community and them just, pulling people in from the community, just having somebody work for them. That person stops working. They had a sole proprietorship. They didn't know anything about LLCs and they just didn't know anything about any of that. And so so then they couldn't give it to me. But thankfully God has positioned me through all these different experiences to be able to help other people. So that's the best thing I like about it. Because I can offer someone else so they don't have to go through what I went through.
Yeah, and maybe we can have you back one day to maybe talk about the structure in starting a business. Like you said, the
Oh, I
difference
would love
between
it.
sole proprietorship and LLCs and corporations and partnerships. And you can, because, when I started our LLC, it was the same thing. You don't even know that
You don't know.
certain
You don't
basic
know.
things that can keep you out of trouble. I'm gonna just say it. Keep yourself out
Yes,
of trouble.
yes.
I think that's important. So maybe we can have you back and we can dive deeper into that. I think it's very important for people to know that it's not as easy as just deciding one day you're going to start a business and start. There's
No.
definitely, I always like to tell people the legal because people forget that part sometimes.
Yes. And another thing I just want to touch on real quick about how amazing God is with his covering. Because in my ignorance, God protected me. In my ignorance, God truly protected me because there were so many vulnerable spaces I was in, and I was unaware how
Mhm.
vulnerable I was. And so I just want to just say that God will cover you, but you have to do your part too. You have to protect your business, especially when you're representing Christ in your business and you are wanting to do things the right way so that you're protecting this space that God blessed you with.
Right. So that's funny. My next question was, what was the role that faith played in your
Um,
building your business? But
everything.
we don't have to even go
Yeah,
there
no.
from
I
beginning
mean
to end.
everything. But like I tell my husband, faith without works, I remind him the Bible says faith without works is dead. So for me, consistently trying to stay on task of um the works of it. And I don't mean the toiling when I say the works. I mean the obedience of the works of you need to follow up on that appointment. You
Mm-hmm.
need to call that person back. You need to cultivate that relationship. Don't allow your fear that they may not really want to do it or these voices in our heads that make up stories that aren't even true
Right.
about other people based on just assumptions. That's the works part of it for me. The part that requires me. to just put one foot forward, and God literally lifts the other foot and says, "Okay, I got you." And so the faith for me is everything, and the works that go with it is a requirement in order for you to truly be successful. I mean, you could say faith all day, but if you're not putting forth what you need to, um, I'll tell you something funny, Missy. So I have been talking to God and doing research on remote patient monitoring. So what remote patient monitoring is it gives your patient more autonomy. It gives them more ability to provide self-care by monitoring their own blood pressure, checking it, I should say, their blood sugars, their weight. And then the information is transmitted to the healthcare professional, the home health agency. And if there's any alarms, they'll let your doctor know. And I have been thinking about it for months and months and months, and doing my due diligence, investigating. And I got a call today.
Oh
Hey, I
wow.
have somebody that wants to talk to you. I had never spoken to anybody about remote patient monitoring. He said, "Hey, I want to talk to you about remote patient monitoring." Well, he didn't even say, he said, "I want to talk to you about this and this and this." And I said, "Are you talking about remote patient monitoring?" He said, "Yes." And he said, "I didn't know you would know that's what I was talking about." Absolutely. I've been thinking about it for months.
Look
I
at God.
said, and God just manifested, because God is God of manifestation.
Yeah.
He brings the invisible into the visible for us. If we just believe and if we just comply with obedience, God is going to make it happen.
Yes, he definitely will. So, wow, so I wish you the best on that journey. I can't wait to hear of the I can't wait to hear of the testimony that's going to come out of that.
Yes, I can't wait either.
So, let me ask you this. So now that you are where you are today, you have this,
Mhm.
these wonderful opportunities, doors opening. What would you tell your younger self
Girl,
during
it's gonna be
those dark
okay.
days? During those dark days.
It's gonna be okay. It is going to be okay. What I would tell my younger self is, don't worry so much. Go ahead and eat that, whatever it is. That one time won't kill you. Um, Go on that trip. Everybody will make it without you. It is not your responsibility to save the world.
Huh.
Um, it is your responsibility to show gratitude for the things that God has given you that are visible to you now, and gratitude for what you're asking for that you know God is going to manifest. It is my responsibility to show love and compassion to all people. It is my responsibility to do the most and the best that I can every day to help somebody reach whatever it is that they want to reach. And it is my responsibility to show love and compassion for other people and practice the fruit of the spirit. That's really what I would tell my younger self. Practice the fruit of the spirit, and you will see God manifesting each and everything that you want. But in my youngness, of course, I was more fixated on what other people was thinking about me, and you know, am I going to be here at this certain? And I'm not even everywhere that I want to be, but I am really enjoying the journey more now. I'm really appreciating each day,
Okay.
waking up.
So with so give us three practical. Okay. So someone who is um hasn't started their journey yet, and I'm trying to figure out how I want to ask this question. I'm sorry. They are trying to build their confidence, maybe break free from that stronghold of abuse and self doubt. So you would, I know some good things you said is you can't save the world and things like that. You know, you have to. what would be three practical steps?
Okay. So what I noticed as I was rethinking about it, I actually spoke to somebody about this. I have never accomplished anything that I put my mind to without writing it down first. That's
Hmm,
biblical.
that's a good one.
Habakkuk.
Yeah.
Write it down, make it plain. And it took me a long time to even decipher what it meant, right? So that when they see it, they will run with it. People can't help you if they don't even know what your vision is.
Because it was given to you. Right.
Amen. So write it down for them, not only for you, but for them too, so that you can translate it easily for them. This is what I'm trying to do. This is what my desires. This is what God has placed in my heart to do. Can you help me with this? And then half the time you don't even have to ask. People will offer. They genuinely want to help,
Right.
especially if they know it's going to help other people. So first I would say write it down.
Write it down.
Make it very, very plain, right? The second thing I would say is you can never ever go wrong if you see yourself the way God sees you,
Hmm,
because
exactly.
that's going to help you as you are engaging with people who literally spend hours upon hours trying to convince you that you're not who God says you are. And until you truly believe and know and understand that you are who God says you are, then you're going to keep letting other people give you sound bites and give you descriptions of who they and their belief about you will begin to cause you to have that same belief about you. So being very secure in who God says you are. I don't mean being boisterous and being, cocky. I mean knowing that God says you could do all things. You that God says as a man thinks, so he is. So your mindset, knowing that if God said you should go on the moon, that you truly can,
Absolutely.
that you truly can. Now it may not be a conventional way. You may have to, do it a go around in a different kind of way. But if God says it for you, there is literally nothing. You can move a mountain. God says we can move mountains. All we need is the faith of a mustard seed and we can move mountains. So the second thing I would say is see yourself the way God sees you.
Okay.
And the third thing I will say is practice the fruit of the spirit. Because if you show people patience and you show them love and you show them kindness and you treat people not even the way you want to be treated, but better than you want to be treated,
Right.
then you are going to have success beyond measure. And I don't mean only financial because that does come, but I mean the success of being able, like this morning, being able to get up, go outside on my porch, light my candles, and just sit in peace. Seeing a little green lizard and just being amazed by the vibrant greenness of this lizard and how it was just maneuvering through and walking on by and minding its own business and in perfect peace.
That's
So
very
that's what I would
true.
say.
Yeah, when you're at peace, just things that are seem to be just the smallest thing just amaze you.
Yes.
Sometimes I find myself driving to work and just the sun, how it's barely coming up and it has that
Mhm,
orange goldish look. To me, I'm just
mhm.
wow. I
That's
have
your
to
gratitude. That's your gratitude, Missy.
huh?
Because that's your gratitude. Because there was a time when you would be focused on how early you have to wake up
And
and how you have to
oh
be
my
at work at a certain
God,
time. and how you didn't feel like going through all this traffic, but now you understand, and so now you see, instead of all the cars around you that are slowing you down, you see this is an opportunity for me to look at the sunrise.
Watch the sunrise and just
Mm-hmm.
be at awe. So something that when I wasn't at peace, because just like I said, I went through a time of abuse and struggle. That was the last thing I was sitting and enjoying was the sunrise. That's really why I like to go on cruises a lot now, because
Okay.
I watch the water. I get up and I have
Mm.
my devotional time, and it's just a serene thing. It's just peaceful, and uh,
Yes.
when you have a lot of things going on in your head and a lot of being tossed
Mm-hmm.
here and there, you just
To and
don't
fro.
get that
Mm-hmm.
full experience. So yeah, it's I know exactly what you're talking about. Just the little green lizard. Look at that.
Yeah. Oh, and
Look,
one more thing, and one more thing I do want to say. Before anybody laid a hand on me, before anybody called me out of my name, before anybody disrespected me, I was in agreement.
mm-hmm, that's true.
So what I did was I'm no longer in agreement. If you say something to me that doesn't align with what I think you should say to me, I have the right to tell you don't speak to me that way.
Right. I heard it once before that I'm gonna let you. In this sense, it was I'll let you love me, but then I'll decide if I want to participate in it. So if you're not
Oh.
loving me right, then I can
Mm,
decide not to participate in it.
I love that. I love that. I
So
love that. Yeah,
mhm,
because we have the right for anybody to be in our life. We have the right to actively participate in this, in whatever the relationship is. And a lot of times we look, like I think about how some of the things that I allowed to happen. And for me, um, it's not that you love this person so much, it's that you don't love yourself.
you don't love yourself. That's exactly right.
Yeah. So
In most cases, you may not even know how to love yourself.
right. And for me, Missy, I can say I had a wonderful and I know you too. This is your testimony too. A wonderful, beautiful, caring mother who
Mhm.
showed us love. It's not that, everybody is coming from a background where you even should be in that type of relationship. But at the same time, it's very easy. It can very easily occur because it can happen at any given moment depending on where you are in your life at that moment.
And see, a lot of times, what I try to share with other people that because I did have a loving mother, and I grew up but I grew up in a single parent household.
Mm-hmm.
So when I knew that I wanted relationships, but I really couldn't tell you what a relationship looked like. My
Mm-hmm.
father passed away when I was very young. So how can you go out and start seeking relationships, even with other people, but looking for a spouse, boyfriend, spouse, um, and then find yourself in a relationship and they're expecting you to be a good wife, but you don't even know what that looks like because you didn't
Right.
grow up experiencing that. So yes, you had a loving mom, but
Mm-hmm.
you didn't have that teach. She taught you to love, but she didn't teach you how to be in a relationship. Just because in
Right.
my case, my dad passed away, so it wasn't like she got a divorce or anything. But my
Mm-hmm.
mom never remarried. So I didn't have that picture of how a wife should treat a husband, and how a husband should treat a wife. So as I've grown through the years, I've learned that over times, like you said, by making a mistake more than once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. Me too. Me too. Me too.
So,
Believe me.
but there comes a time when you do get it right, and so
Yeah, you do
I
get it right, and it's always work. It's work. It is work.
yeah,
It is work. It is not the kind of work that It's not the toiling kind of work. It's just the little simple kind of work. Like, can I have a hug? Or can I have a kiss? Or um, how you doing today? You know, just ask your spouse, how you doing today? And then they'll tell, because we spend very little time over the big picture. We spend very little time with our intimate partners, our loved ones,
Mm-hmm.
our husbands. So it's very critical that the time that we do spend is nurturing. Because as you stated, you didn't get that. Well, most of the time, the people we come into relationships with didn't get it either.
That is
So
true.
it's
Have two
like
people
minds. Yeah.
who
Two
have not
fractured
a clue.
people.
Not a
Yeah,
clue.
yes. Two fractured souls coming together, trying to make a whole piece, and it never works.
So it's we're getting past our time, and I want to
Okay.
give the audience a chance, the opportunity to ask questions. So as I get some questions come up, I have one last question for you, and then we'll answer some audience questions.
Okay.
So, what legacy do you hope to leave through manifest um, home health in your personal journey?
Okay. So I hope to leave the legacy of community. I
Um,
believe that we are called for one another. The big picture is for us to serve each other, for me to be able to help you in any way possible, and vice versa, for you to be able to help me. If we can look at our relationships as, and this is every relationship, I want to see you, Missy, succeed in ways that you can't even imagine with this programming and any other areas in your life. And you have the same thought for me, then neither one of us can do anything but succeed because we have a champion on our side. You're championing for me and I'm championing for you. So
exactly.
I really want to be known as an advocate. I want to be known as a community organizer who spent her life trying to teach people how to self care. Because I'm trying to see how to say this. I don't want to say the system is rigged, but it's not in your best favor. I mean, things are not set up for you to be successful with your health and wellness. So when you have so many different things coming at you, just being able to offer people, hey, here's a different way.
Yeah, I want. That's a whole nother show of
Yeah.
the system.
And I know you know, yeah.
Especially a person who struggled with my weight for many years.
Yes.
I found
And being a chemist.
him, and
And being a chemist to
yeah,
understand the ingredients that go into many different things. Yeah.
but realizing that now that I have lost weight and things like that, going from two blood pressure medications down to one, and my
Mm-hmm.
prayer is down to none is my ultimate
And you will.
goal. And going from pre-diabetic to 5.2, A1C.
Wow.
I'm just
Wow.
information because, like you
I
said,
love it.
the rig of the system want to keep you sick, but we're not gonna go
Yeah.
into that. We're gonna
Yeah.
save that
Yeah.
for another show.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's another show. Yeah.
Questions? I don't see maybe one. Okay, I don't see any questions in the
Mhm.
chat. So if there's some come up later, we'll have to. I'll send them and have to get some answers from you. But
Okay, I'm happy to.
wow, but wow, wow, wow. What a powerful conversation with Dr. Shirlette, reminding us that no matter how broken or overlooked we may feel,
Mhm.
we can rise, rebuild, and reclaim our worth. From a
Amen.
low self-esteem to caring, to receiving a doctorate leading in healthcare, coaching, and founding Manifest Home Health. Your story proves our past does not decide our future. If you've been carrying lemons, self-doubt, pain, setbacks, let tonight inspire you to create something beautiful out of what once felt bitter. So we would like to thank you, Dr. Shirley, for your time and
Thank
sharing your
you.
heart and sharing your wisdom. We really
Thank you, Missy.
want to
Thank
have
you
you
so
back.
much for having me. I'm honored to be on your platform, and I look forward to seeing all that you do. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so much.
much.
And don't forget, we're gonna talk about that legal. We're gonna bring you back to
Oh
uh,
yes, I'm
legal.
more than ready because I understand. I get it. I'm ready.
All right. Well, thank you, Shirley.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Missy.
Thank you. So next week we'll be back and we're gonna dive into love across borders, the American immigrant experience, the joys and the challenges of cross-cultural marriages. Thursday
Oh.
at 7 p.m. And then the following week, we are actually going to talk about how fashion can save your life. The
Mm.
latest fashion technologies, wearables, and wearables and styles that support safety and well-being. You won't want to miss it. Thank
Okay,
you
I'll
for
tune
being,
in. Thank you.
thank you for being here tonight. If this space serves you well, hit subscribe and hit that bell so that you will get a notification on Thursdays when we're coming on. Tell us, tell us your takeaway in the comments. I would really love to know what you gained from this podcast and share it with someone who you think may need some hope. So until then, keep it real and keep your mojo. I mean, just hello. Welcome to the Real Mojo with Missy Jomo. So let me break it down for you. When I say real, I mean just that. I'm coming to you raw, I'm coming to you unfiltered and authentic. You won't see me dressed to the nines because that's not my focus. My focus is not on looks, it's on the content. This show is about real life, real issues, and real solutions. And let's be honest, it's not always pretty. In fact, at times, it's downright unattractive. But here's the thing. I'm going to share real experiences from my own life and from the life of others who will join me on this show. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a counselor. I'm just a real person sharing what I've learned as I've lived life along the way. Now let's make it clear. I'm not here to tell you a rags to riches story because that isn't me. But what I am here to share is a rags to out of the ditches story because life has thrown me in some ditches and I know it's thrown some at you too. The point is not staying stuck in them, but finding the strength to climb out. In some ditches, and I know it's thrown some at you too. The point is not staying stuck in them, but finding the strength to climb out of them. Now let's talk about mojo. For me, mojo stands for momentum. It stands for movement. It stands for I'm moving forward. Because we're not here just to talk about the struggles and sit in them. We're here to figure out how do we move forward? How do we turn a situation that feels heavy or hopeless into something beautiful and full of purpose? How do we go from A to Z? That's the heartbeat of this space. And that's what it means to be a part of the Real Mojo family. So if this resonates with you, I invite you to push that subscribe button, join the conversation, and grow with me in future episodes. Until next time, keep it real and keep your mojo. I'll see you soon.